Hi, I'm sick, and today I want to talk to you about how being sick has challenged my leadership. No, this is not a put on. I'm really sick. Unfortunately, this year I've had some real challenges with my health. Now, look, it's not bad. I just got a flu, right? I've just started getting fevers a couple of days ago, actually, while I was recording our podcast this week. Started getting really bad shivers and shakes and got fever and everything like that while I was recording the podcast. As soon as I finished the podcast, shut it down and went to bed. And have been sick in bed pretty much for the last couple of days. And the last 3 days, actually. And today's it's Friday and it's filming day for my social media content, and I'm sorry that I don't have as much energy as I normally do, but I thought it's true. This is real life. I said we were going to share from real life experiences of things that are challenging my leadership, right? And being sick is one thing that really challenges your leadership. You know, like I said, this year I've had some intense things with my health. I have been to hospital 3 separate times with a stomach bug called amoeba here in the Dominican Republic. It's a really, really, really nasty stomach bug that you get from contaminated water. And no matter how careful I am, I've gotten it 3 times. And it's ended me up in emergency 3 times and actually admitted me into hospital on the last time. And I've been dealing with a lot of those health issues. And then, like I said, this week, gotten the flu, right? And so it's real, right? And I know you as a leader are challenged because you are expected to be invincible, right? We as leaders are meant to be heroes, right? We're meant to be these invincible people that can just charge through anything and things don't touch us.
That's Jason Bourne.
But the reality is they do. And they affect our leadership. And today I want to chat through 3 ways of how being sick has challenged my leadership. You know, you don't have to look too far to see perfect examples of people's health affecting their leadership. You know, it's all over the news right now. You've got Joe Biden, whose mental capacity is questionable.
So the best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to. Anyway. And today, TSMC has announced a second major investment. It will construct a second fab here in Phoenix to build chips, 3 nano chips. The 3 nano chips that are 3 nano. And you know what I'm saying. No, I don't know.
You've got like John Fetterman, who's running for Senate in Pennsylvania, who's just had a stroke, unfortunately. But they're trying to ignore his stroke or his recovery from stroke, and he's really struggling. He's struggling to answer questions. He's bumbling words together, like I am now. And I've asked my editor to not do as many edits this week to kind of show you, or not to edit out all my mistakes this week, because so you can see the reality of this is how it affects you, right? It affects how you think. It affects your ability to be able to process things. It affects your ability it affects your energy. Like I'll do this, I'll record for the next 10, 20 minutes or whatever, and I'll go crawl into bed. And that'll be it for the day, right? I'll do my sessions with my clients, and as soon as it's done, I click end on the Zoom call and crawl into bed. I've got no energy to expel anything else. And that's one of the biggest challenges for us as leaders, because our role as leaders is to overflow into the people we're leading, right? We're meant to fill them up to overflowing. And that's what the Bible talks about, like endless times about being filled to overflowing. That means we overflow to something else. And when we're sick, we're not overflowing. I've got nothing, like my team, I've got nothing to give them. I'm just really fortunate that half my team here are in India, and they've had some big religious festivals this week, and so they haven't been around. So I've been fortunate this week that it hasn't affected my team, but I haven't had anything to give my team. Right? Thank God, like praise God that he set it out that way. But we as leaders need to make sure we're filled to overflowing, so we can overflow to others, so we can fill them to overflowing. There was this study done by the Journal of Finance where they took 1,300 Danish SMEs and looked at the effects of what happened to the organization when the CEO was hospitalized for 5 to 7 days. And what they showed is that if a CEO, the leader of the organization, was hospitalized for 5 to 7 days, at any point during the year, they saw an average of 7% drop in performance in the organization. 7%. A 7% drop just because the CEO took off 5 to 7 days, right? And so that's the real importance, and that's the impact that has to our organizations when we're sick. And that's the importance that a leader needs to stay healthy. And so let me get to the 3 lessons that I've learned from how being sick has challenged my leadership. The first one, and to kind of follow on from that article about the effects of taking time off because you're sick, we as leaders just need to push through. That's right. You need to toughen up, princess. You need to have a spoon of cement, as they say in Australia. I don't know where you're watching this in the world. That's kind of like what we say is like, toughen up, princess, or you need a spoonful of cement, right? Because you need to harden up. Sometimes we just need to harden up, because let's be honest, we as leaders are different. We're called to be different. As the quote says, there's no traffic jam in the extra mile, right? So that's what makes leaders great, or great leaders great, is we actually can push through the tough times. That's why you're called to be a leader, because you can handle more than the average. I know there's lots of people around me. I don't expect them to be able to push through like I do. You know, my wife, the moment she's tired, leaves everything, doesn't matter how dirty things are, how messy things are, she'll go down and lay down in bed, because she doesn't have what it takes to push through. And that's nothing against her. That's just her personality, right? And I'm sure you know people like that, and they get frustrating for you. But just remember, not everyone's like you. That's why you're a leader. That's why we're different. We can push through. That's why while everyone's asleep in my house, I'll work through till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then get woken up at 6:30 in the morning with my son. You know, because we just have to push through. We are called to push through. We have to push through, because that's what makes us different. When everyone else goes home from the office at night, you stay through and push through to meet that deadline. You haven't met your sales targets for that week, for that month, your team can all go home. But you keep pushing through, making those last 2, 3 phone calls to make sure you can push the numbers over, because it doesn't matter to them. You got to remember, it doesn't matter to them. If they don't meet their targets, they miss their commission for that week. But if you miss it, you don't put food on the table this week, right? And so there's something that's inside a leader, especially an entrepreneurial leader, that allows us to push through. You hear all the stories of all these people, all these tech gurus and everything like that started out by just all crashing in a single unit, single room unit, and all crashing together and all just staying up till, for days straight writing code, because they knew what it took to be leaders. They knew what it took to be leaders in their industry, to be able to push through. And so we need to be able to push through. But here's the key to pushing through. We have to know what we're focusing on. We have to know what we're focusing on, because we have to see what's important. We have to get our priorities in order. Because if we're just pushing through and just doing mundane things, then we're wasting our time. Because remember, we make a lot of mistakes when we're sick. I mean, look at me. Like I'm mumbling through this. I don't have high energy. I'm going to take longer to record this video than normal. I normally rattle it out, but now like my brain is so slow, I'm going to make more mistakes. I'm going to take longer, and that will cost me more, right? That'll cost me more because my editor has to spend longer editing it, right? I have to spend longer reviewing it. Like there's all those things that when we're sick, we make mistakes. And so it's important to make sure we focus on what's important, right? The priority. Priority is make sure that the content is still coming up. So I just made sure that what's the priority? Making some content. Does it need to be polished? Do I need to be perfect and prim and proper and I'm not even shaved? I'm not, I'm just like, no, I just want to share, right? And so So we need to know what our priorities are. Like for me during the week, like I said, I just spend time with my clients, right? I just do sessions with my clients. I'll put on a brave face. I'll push through. I'll let them know that I'm sick. Like I'll let them know, hey guys, just to let you know I'm going to be a little low energy today because I'm sick. And they're cool with that, but they know that I'm there for them, right? And so when we're sick, we need to know what our priorities are. My priorities are sessions with clients because they pay the bills. So I'll pull myself together, do a session with the client. Actually, I did one session this week where I didn't even have a shower beforehand. I rocked up in my hoodie and everything. I'm just like, all right, I'm here. What do you need? Like we went through the session, I pulled myself together, told them what was going on, and then crawl back into bed, right? And so while we push through, we still need to be smart about it. We still have to have our priorities because if we don't, we're just going to prolong our sickness and we're going to make more and more mistakes along the way. Which kind of leads me to the second thing of how being sick has challenged my leadership. And that's, we need to take a break, right? Like I said, I've taken this week off, right? Other than the important things. You have to too. Like, we have to listen to our bodies. And that's one thing that most leaders struggle with is being able to listen to our bodies. We have to see the red flags. We have to see the warning signs that are making us, that are leading to making us sick. Because trust me, I've seen this with so many clients that they'll push through and then they'll get so sick that they'll make bigger mistakes and then they'll be off for even longer, right? And that's one thing that I work through with my clients is I help them manage, help them identify, is this a moment that we need to push through or is this a moment that we need to take a break? And I do this from week to week. We manage our clients' energy levels because as a leader, that's my responsibility to manage my team. I have to manage their energy levels. So if you've got team that are getting sick, you too have to challenge them to push through sometimes and then also sometimes tell them to take time off. But you also need to listen to those people that tell you to take time off, right? Now, it is difficult because the moment I get a little bit sick, my wife goes, I'll cancel your session, right? Because that's her default, right? Mine's different because I push through, but I still have to listen to it, right? I have to weigh up my loved ones around me that's why I have a team of mentors. I've got a team of four mentors around me, as well as my wife, that speak into my life on a weekly basis, my wife on a daily basis, and let me know, don't do that. You need to take some time off. Be wary. You're starting to make some mistakes, and they know the red flags as well. They know the triggers for me, and so we have to take a break as leaders. And I know it's really hard because the first one I said, "Well, toughen up, princess, and have a teaspoon of cement." Right? Like we're expected to do that as leaders. But how are you going to help people when you're dead? How are you going to help people if you're chronically ill? How are you, you can't help anyone when you're sick. Like they're saying, you can't help the poor by being one. You can't help your team by being sick, right? They need your energy, and if you got no energy, they can't help you. The old analogy of on an airplane, you need to put your own oxygen mask on first. You, as a leader, need to look after you. Give yourself permission to take time off. Yes, this week's been a terrible week for productivity. I'm fallen way behind with a bunch of tasks that I needed to do. But they weren't important. They weren't as high of a priority as my health because I'm looking long term and going, no, I give myself permission. Now, here's the thing. I don't want you to take time off and just be sitting there while you're having time off going, I should be working, I should be working, I should be working, I should be working. Because that's not resting. When I give myself permission to take time off, I take time off. So what does that mean? Sometimes I push through to get a bunch of things done so that I know now that stuff's done, I can go and take a break now. And so there are some of your priorities. That's why it's important to have those priorities. But after you've done those, give yourself permission and really ask yourself, does it really matter if this waits another week? Does it really matter? Because I guarantee you take 2 to 3 days off and rest completely, you'll be so much better than if you try to push through and you'll still be sick in 2, 3, 4 weeks. How do I know? I'm so guilty of doing it. I do it all the time. This is more a message to myself, let me just tell you, right? Because I'm guilty of this. So remember to give yourself permission to take time off. After you dealt with your priorities, give yourself permission and allow your body to recover properly. Do some Netflix, like just pass out on the couch, like rest, fill up with really good high nutrient food, like take a break, fill your body, take as many immune boosting things as you can take, everything, like just do it all. Like Google every remedy, medicine, herbal, crazy thing online that you need to do. Just boost your immune system and get yourself better, right? Take a break, get better. And the third thing that I've learned from how being sick has challenged my leadership is you got to have a succession plan, right? In your organization, whether you're in business or whether you're in corporate or whether you're in ministry or whatever, you have to have a succession plan. You have to have a team that you can rely on. So, how do we have a good succession plan? Well, I believe there's 3 key areas, and this is the main thing that this is my kind of my. Now, I don't really talk too much about my business coaching, but my favorite type of business coaching client are established businesses that are now looking for that succession plan, right? They're now looking to, how do I expand? Yeah, how do I actually develop? Because there's 3 key ways in which I work with my clients in that. Number 1 is we've got to work on your processes, right? You got to get your systems all automated and everything documented and recorded. Because if your systems and processes aren't created, then no one's going to be able to do it for you. You're the only one that can do it. Because most business owners I speak to, you're the one that the business is up in here. Get it out of there. Get it out of there. Get it down in processes, right? So that's the first step. Get processes. Second step is people. That's it. Recruit properly. Recruit the right people. Onboard them properly. Like train them properly. Lead them properly. Manage them properly. And so this is where a lot of leadership stuff comes into play, but also a lot of recruitment stuff as well. And then the third is profits, because you have to build your profits in your organization to be able to pay those staff, to be able to pay for your expansion plan. So you have a succession plan so that you can hand off to other people and you can be sick and away and the business not be reliant on you. This week, unfortunately, yes, I've got team, and even if my team had have been here, some work would have been done, but there would have been some less accountability, so it would have been a lot slower, right? But at least stuff would have been done if they weren't on holidays. But when I'm sick, my team is still pumping. I told you I was admitted to hospital. For that time that I was in hospital, I was just checking in with my team, leading them from the hospital, not really doing too much work, resting, but still checking in on them. And when I got out, I had a whole bunch of stuff done because I've got a succession plan. I'm building a team around me so that I'm not being reliant. And with our app, shameless plug, if you're looking for free leadership development training, we've got 60 plus weeks worth of content. Check out the link below. It's free. Create a free account. Like it's good, right? That's my pitch. We're creating this app and I'm building it so that all the content is in there. I never have to teach again, right? I'll always teach. But if something happens to me, all the content's there, and we're building this mechanism so that other coaches can coach our content because it's all there for them. It's all structured for them. It's easy. I've got all my systems, I've got all my processes, I've got my team. And so we're building that so that I have a succession plan. My app is my succession plan so that I can continue to grow. But if something happens to me, if I get sick, the app and the coaches are still growing, people are still growing in their leadership. And so you must have a succession plan. And so to have your succession plan, you need to get your processes right, you need to get your people right, and you need to get your profits right. And I said there was 3 things of how being sick challenged my leadership. But I got a bonus one for you. And the bonus one is rely on God. Trust in God. Like, believe that He will carry you through. Believe that He's got your business protected. Believe that He's protecting your team. Lean into Him that He will provide healing for you. Lean into Him that He will give you the energy to sustain you through. Find all those health scriptures, all the scriptures that promise you health, that promise that people will fall to your right hand and left hand. Psalm 91 or all those other verses. And that's how bad I am. I can normally recite them because they're such key verses. Right now, I'm drawing a blank. That's how great you are as a leader, right? But you know the verses that help you when you're struggling with health. Pray into those. Believe that God will sustain you. Believe that God will restore your health, right? And renew your youth like an eagle. So spend time listening to him, right? Listen to the warning. He'll tell you when you need to take a break. Take a break before you get sick, not after you get sick, right? Like slow down, because normally when you get sick, it's your body going, whoa, it's time to stop, right? And so we need to listen to the warning signs. And so that's how being sick has challenged my leadership. And so please remember, you need to push through. You need to take a break. You need to have a succession plan. And you need to rely on God. Hey, if this has been helpful, you know what would help make me feel better is you liking, subscribing, and commenting. That would absolutely mean it will return my health if you do that. And also it'd be a miraculous healing for me if you go and join our free leadership development program. Links all down. Like, subscribe, comment. Thank you. Bye.